Saturn is about you taking responsibility for your life. That's why most Capricorn and Aquarius come into very difficult families, because from the beginning, they have to do it by themselves. Saturn is father time. Saturn is a wise old man. Saturn is the teacher in astrology. It's going to be a time of boundaries, responsibility, not making excuses, working hard, not getting compensated immediately for your hard work, feeling frustrated, feeling stuck, getting punished when things are wrong. Basically, a lot of like emotional maturity. It's going to be a time for these signs to grow up and to own their choices in life and to feel good about them. Just adulting, basically. So like all of those non-healthy coping mechanisms that these, sun signs had before, are not going to work for them. And it's going to be pretty apparent to themselves and everybody else that these coping mechanisms are not working for them. Because when it comes to Capricorn energy, who's ruled by Saturn, Capricorn energy is all about not making excuses. People want what they want. Like when you're at work and your boss is asking you to do something, they don't really like to hear why you couldn't do it. Even though sometimes the excuse is valid, a lot of times they still don't want to hear it because they expect you to do it. So that's pretty much what that energy is. It's an energy of like, this is what I've asked you to do. Like, it doesn't really matter how you feel about it. So it's about discipline. It's about putting your head down and doing it, not because people are clapping, but because that's what you're supposed to be doing, and holding yourself accountable, because nobody's coming to do it for you and nobody's coming to tell you to do it. Nobody's coming to parent you around it. Nobody's coming to rescue you from it, and nobody's coming to like give you a game plan. So that's why Capricorn, being a cardinal sign, is very self-driven. They're very fierce because they have had to do a lot of things on their own, and that's also why they don't listen to a lot of people. So they know what to do. They're wiser than somebody their age. So if you struggle to be somebody who holds yourself accountable, if the idea of personal responsibility sends like shivers down your spine, and if that makes you squirm and makes you uncomfortable, then you're going to have a hard time, because that's all this energy is going to be about. It's going to be do the right thing, do what you're supposed to do, and do it well. When you do what you're supposed to do and you do it well, and you learn to suck it up, take the good with the bad, and not let the bad like deter you from your goals, you get rewarded. So that's the good news. The good news is when you're willing to do all of that, good things happen. You get bonuses. It's like you get a lot in return for your consistency, for your determination, for your good karma, for your doing the right thing, even when it was difficult, even when people turned against you, even when people wanted to isolate you, even when people wanted to use and abuse you, even when people wanted to abandon you, even when people didn't want you to love yourself and they wanted you to think less of yourself, even when they wanted to steal from you and hold you back or distract you from your goals. Even when all these obstacles came your way, you overcame them all by yourself. How impressive is that? But you're never going to know that you can do that until those very people that you're complaining about abandon you, until those very people stab you in the back, until those very same people are two-faced with you, until those very same people were not able to reciprocate that energy you were giving them. You're not going to become who you are to be until you go through that challenge, is my point. So it's not about excuses. It's not about blaming. It's not about woe is me. Yeah, life is hard. What's new? Saturn is not about your complaints. Like, Saturn doesn't care how you feel. And I know it sounds harsh to hear, but it's so true. Saturn is all about rules and regulations. Saturn is about law and order. That's always the answer for Saturn. Over the next 3 years, your ass will get whipped into shape and you will come out of it better for it, because literally everything we go through in this universe is to train us. Everything, the good and the bad. If those people hadn't stabbed you in the back, if they weren't two-faced with you, how would you know to listen to your intuition? You wouldn't. They needed to be two-faced with you so you could get that gut feeling like, something doesn't feel right. Like, I know you're saying all the right things, but your energy right now is giving not so much. I'm not sure. I'm not comfortable. Even though I should feel comfortable because I like you, I'm not comfortable. I don't feel right. So that's your intuition speaking to you. But if that person hadn't tried to cross you, why would you have gotten that message in the first place? Why would your body have notified you that you feel unsafe? When you add it all up, you have no reasons to be like paranoid or suspicious about this person. Like on paper, there's no reason for you to feel that way. And yet, here you are with your body getting tense, and yet here you are with your heart racing, and yet here you are sweating a little bit because the more interactions with you they have, the more uncomfortable you feel. If you were to not listen to that discomfort and you were to continue to interact with this person and you were to find yourself in a really bad position, during the next 3 years, it's going to be really, really bad. We're talking like to the extent where you can find yourself like in isolation, because Saturn is very big on isolation. And I mean like institutions of isolation. Saturn is about restriction. When you're not doing the right thing and you're not restricting yourself in the way that you should be, holding yourself accountable and holding back when you should be holding back and pushing forward when you should be pushing forward, what's going to happen is that Saturn is going to punish you by doing it for you. So let's say your intuition has been telling you for a while now that you need to stop robbing people or stealing from people. So you've been doing it for a while, but the really last time that you did it, you felt really, really bad. Like, man, that was not good. Like me stealing this thing that doesn't belong to me. I just feel like, crummy, like creepy person. Let's say you get this loud message from your gut, like, yuck, like I'm not a good person. I'm like literally a horrible person because I am out here scamming and stealing from people. Like I feel bad about it. Let's say that's where you are. So your gut tells you that and you choose to not listen. Even though you receive that message, you're like, you know what? But YOLO. I'm still gonna live my life. Whatever. Let's see what happens. Gotta take my chances, right? What's gonna happen is you're gonna find yourself arrested, and it's gonna be in the worst situation that is imaginable, meaning that whatever you get charged with is gonna be way more than the average person. Because when Saturn punishes, it's harsh, simply because it is to teach you a message about the fact that stealing is not right. So Saturn in astrology is about karma. It's about punishment. It's about accountability, but it is also about reward. Because if you resist your urges, if you hold back, if you follow the rules in spite of the temptation, if you choose to do the right thing in spite of the difficulties, what happens is that you get an opportunity to be rewarded for all of your hard work. Life opens up to you. Good things come to you that you never would have imagined. Abundance comes in ways that you never would have imagined. Everything starts working out for you. Everything goes well for you. You get rewarded more than you deserve. And you're given an abundance because you're somebody who does right by your community. You see, when we follow the rules, we're not just doing it for ourselves, we're doing it also for our community. As an example, when we're on the road, there is like how many miles per average that all of us are supposed to drive. Let's say you're driving on a road that's 40 miles per hour, right? For whatever reason, that day you decided to do 100. When you're doing that 100 miles per hour, you're only thinking about yourself, right? You're trying to get somewhere really fast. So you're just pressing on the gas, just trying to get there. What if during that swift decision that you made to break the law and go 100 miles on an hour on a road that's 40 miles per hour, you get into a wreck? What if that wreck ends up hurting you really badly? What if that wreck ends up hurting somebody else really badly? What if that wreck ends up killing someone else? What if you find yourself in a position where you're now looking at a crime of murder because you were deliberately not following the laws, the rules of the road? What if you get charged with involuntary murder? What if you find yourself now on trial for your life? Do you see what I'm saying? So when we're making decisions to break the rules, and I don't mean that just in the physical world, I also mean it in the spiritual world. Like as an example, if somebody has been nothing but kind and generous towards you and they haven't done anything to harm you, and you decide that you're just going to slander them, you're just going to ruin their reputation, you're just going to smile in their face and talk shit about them behind their back, you're just going to deliberately try to isolate them from the community, Like you're just going to send them evil energy for whatever reason. During Saturn period, the way that that evil energy is going to come back to you times 100, like you're not ready. It's not a joke. Like your life will literally get destroyed to shreds, just so you can learn that this is not how we behave in the community. Because Saturn is all about the community. Because when you're nice to your brother and your sister and you smile in their face, and when you don't stab them in the back, and when you follow like the driving speed limit and you don't put yourself in a position where you can harm your life or the life of another, you're actually benefiting the community. You're actually contributing to people loving each other, caring for each other, supporting each other, trusting one another, feeling safe with one another. And that can only lead to a more secure and stable world. So that's what Capricorn is all about. So over the next 3 years, if you haven't learned how to treat yourself or other people, if you haven't learned how to respect your feelings and other people's feelings, you are going to be taught in the most severe way how to do that. So it's important to look both at the sun sign, but also your big 6 placements, because those areas are also going to be affected. Aquarius, Leo, Scorpio, and Taurus, the hot seat is going to last until 2044. Okay, 2044. So quite a long time. We're talking about a decade of like learning to let go, learning to transition, learning to be flexible, learning what needs to die, what needs to be nurtured, learning what parts of our lives, our environments, our connections, our work needs to be revamped. So all of that is going to get sorted out. So if you have any of these signs as your rising, if you're a Scorpio rising, if you're a Leo rising, if you're a Taurus rising, if you're an Aquarius rising, it's just going to be a lot of change. You're just going to have to keep moving with it. Like a lot of change coming left and right. You're just, to be successful, you have to just keep moving and become very good at assessing what's important, what isn't important. What do you need to focus on? What do you need to let go? Because you won't be able to manage all of it, especially if it's a lot of success. There's going to be a lot of opportunities coming your way. You're just going to have to trust your instincts to make the good decision, like the best decision about what's important, what's not important. What do I need to kill? What do I need to nurture? And just keep growing. Because if you're willing to let things die that need to die, you're going to be so impressed with how amazing of a job you do at your growth, your development, the type of character that you have, the type of person that you are, your identity, how you see yourself, how other people see you. All of that is going to completely blossom. A lot of you are stuck in life because you don't want to accept that you made a mistake. Everybody does it. You made a mistake. You don't like where you're at. Just own it. There is no growth without you being honest. You want a fantasy life where you don't recognize your mistakes and learn from them. Like, how do you think people grow? How do you think people become strong? How do you think people get better and better? It's because they know how to accept disappointment and failure. That's how you grow. Failure is how you succeed in life.
You can book your astrology reading at intuitivehealing.com. You can also watch videos at Intuitive Healing here on YouTube for Astrology 101 content. Listen to the Aquarius podcast on Spotify, as well as here on YouTube for your horoscope. If you're interested in astrology and love connections, you can visit at Styled Under Libra. And of course, for health and wellness and holistic healing, visit at Styled Under Virgo for all of your astrology content. Thanks so much for watching.